Hello and welcome to episode 8 of the AdTalk podcast. We're your hosts.
Let's go.
Dakota's here. I'm Dakota, by the way.
Hey, Dakota. My name's Caleb. Nice to meet you, bro.
Hey, likewise. Caleb's here. I'm here. And of course, our resident man with the accent. Here's the thing. Before I introduce this person, let me just say that to all my family and friends who have listened to this podcast and asked me, we want more Matthew, please. This is for you, okay? Matthew is here again, front and center, because we've heard your requests. We've heard the people at home, and they just want more Matthew. I don't know why. I think it's the accent.
It's like the SNL skit. Just need more Matthew.
More cowbell, dude.
Instead of more cowbell, we need more.
When in doubt, just bring in a little more Matthew, and I think the world would be a better place.
It's definitely got to be the accent because I bring absolutely nothing of content value. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, it's the humility too, as you can see, right?
There you go.
Yeah, the accent paired with the humility.
Well, I'm glad to be on this one,
1-2 punch.
and a bit more front and center because I was just about to launch my third-party podcast, AdTalk.
Oh,
Matt talk.
I don't know, man. How many more Matts do you have to join the host panel of Matt Talk?
I've got Matt Stafford on the line.
Ooh.
Matt Barry.
Okay.
Now, are you sure it's not just like topical? Like you just talk about mats, like MAT floor mat, like you discuss like the best bathroom, mats.
Yeah.
When I get out of the shower, let me tell you,
I love it.
this mat changed my life.
No, actually, so I have to say this because I got out of the shower last night. We just moved into this new place, and I don't know where we got the bathroom mat that we currently have outside the shower. This is a relevant conversation because this actually happened last night. I got out of the shower, and in my brain, I'm going, why does this mat feel wet? A bathroom mat should never feel wet. It should dry pretty dang quickly. And I said to JC, like, where did we get this? This I don't think this is a bathroom mat. I think we're using like a living room type mat in our bathroom because it's never drying fully. So Matt, maybe when you start your Matt talk, that's a topic you could throw on the docket because I'm in the market sincerely for a bathroom mat.
I will dedicate a whole episode just to bath mats. How about that?
That would be great.
That would honestly be great. Listening to you tell that story, Dakota, makes me cringe because I cannot stand anything worse than getting out of the shower and stepping onto a wet rug.
Yes.
Like if somebody else has showered before me and they are like, they get out and they're one of those people that just let it drip all over the rug. That is the worst. Like dry off in the shower and then step out. Like don't wet the whole floor with your, yeah.
But dude, but a real like bathroom mat should be moisture wicking enough that you don't feel that. And that was my problem last night. So in other words, Matthew Gosling, we need Matt talk first. Honestly, I got an ad the other day to loop it back around to ads. And I was thinking about this really cool product. At least it looked like it was like a bamboo bathroom mat, which, so it's like hard and like a little bit like slatted, like there were like some slats, and you step onto it and apparently it dries within 20 minutes, like fully. So Matt Talk, you've got a lot of topics that you could go through already on Matt Talk. We haven't even started with front door mats. I mean, that's a whole other world.
I'll give my mother a shout out here. Lorraine Gosling. She, like, whenever we're together, she will always be like, "Hey, could you pass me a beer, Matt?" And I'm like, "Here's a beer, Matt."
Oh gosh! Wait, is that a British thing? We call that a coaster here.
Yeah, coaster. Yeah, we call it a beer, Matt. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I didn't get that effort.
Yeah, sorry. That's just one for the UK homies.
All right. Well, what do we got on the docket today, Matt?
So I thought we could just have like a State of the Union discussion. Thanks for that. Of like what's happening in advertising right now. Feels like there's changes every day, and thought we could just spend some time thinking about the big ones that are happening in our space and how it's impacting the work that we do and what it will look like going forward with certain things.
Mm.
For example, there was a ad week report that said that global ad spend is on the rise, but digital growth is slowing. And that's pretty important for us. So there's a lot happening out there, and there's a lot we can dig into and sort of just have a freewheeling conversation about.
Yeah, what's interesting, like so kind of to preface this conversation, obviously we work with a lot of different people in different industries, different niches, so we get to kind of have like a bird's eye glance of like what are people spending on advertising, what sort of results are they getting, right? Is spend up, is it down, is revenue up, is revenue down, right? Like what's actually happening with the money that people are putting into ads. And this month, I will say the month of May has been an interesting one. It's been in my opinion, the first time this year, and even in the last couple of years, where that word recession has kind of peeked
Mm.
its ugly head again.
Mm-hmm.
Because, people have been talking about that since, I don't know what, mid year last year, like when
Yeah.
interest rates started rising, when the Fed was adjusting things, and Caleb, I think like in our industry, people were like, oh crap, something might happen now. You know what I mean? Like we might start to see the effects of these changes, and we might start to lose a little bit of money, but nothing really changed. Like
No.
from that conversation to this month, nothing really changed.
In
But
fact, our business was like growing rapidly over that time period. So
yeah, people were spending more money. Revenue was good. ROAS, return on ad spend, has looked as best for years. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
like it feels like COVID happened. We thought there was going to be a recession. Everything just went super bullish. Things grew like crazy, and then last year it was like, oh, this is going to stop. The bubble's going to burst, and we never saw that happen.
Didn't happen. Yeah.
Until this month. I think I'm not saying it's happening this month, but this has been the first time where, at least me, I want to know your thought on this, Caleb, because we haven't really had this conversation. But I kind of feel like, just based on like ad spend numbers, seeing the revenue numbers, seeing like what business owners and CEOs are thinking, what their next moves are, how they want to go from here, I feel that this is the first time that there's been a little bit of like are we about to run into something scary? Like, are people about to stop spending money?
Yeah. No, I've definitely felt like that's been the general tone like this month. Like a lot of business owners are just kind of like, is anybody else kind of seeing the slowdowns, or is anybody else kind of seeing things like happen? And I've just, in the different circles that we're in, and this is like unrelated, obviously, to like not just clients that we're working with, but just people out there, generally speaking, have been talking about this month being slower. So yeah, it's really interesting. And then on top of that, on top of a month where things have felt a little bit slower, we're seeing the huge news with YouTube that everybody's been talking about. Dakota, I know you and I have been like having a lot of great discussions on this, but YouTube ads lately have been producing a lot of fake spam leads for people. And that's huge in our space because for the last, I don't know, like 2 years, I would say, YouTube has kind of been like the golden child of social media ads. Like when people want to get started, everyone's like, oh, YouTube ads, you got to get started with YouTube ads. And this month, like we've never seen before, more spam leads have been coming from YouTube ads. And now all those people, are like, okay, well, I guess, do we need to start looking at other platforms? And it just speaks to something that you and I talk about all the time, which is that don't get stuck into shiny channel syndrome. You know what I mean? That's
shiny channel syndrome is our version of shiny object syndrome, right? Like we've all talked to the entrepreneur out there. I mean, we've had clients like this, we've had prospects like this, where they're like, the next thing pops up and they're like all in on it, right? Whether it's AI, whether it's crypto, whatever it is, right? Like that sort of like, oh man, this is the thing that's going to solve all my problems and fix my business. And as far as ad platforms go, like YouTube has been that thing for the last 3 years. People who have tried on Facebook and Meta ads have failed, right? And they're like, no, wait, actually, it's the platform that's the problem. It's not my offer or my message or the funnel. And now finally, we're at this place where it's like, oh, wait a second, YouTube has problems too? Like YouTube ads have issues? There's no one perfect platform. Oh no, what are we gonna do, right? And so to your point, like, and we can dig into that more, but to your point, like the recession talk, or like the down, the down month that some people have had this month, I feel like it comes back around to like ad platform changes as well, because not only has YouTube experienced like some growing pains / like just algorithm shifts this month, but Meta had like a really weird month too, where late in April, there was one day, it was a Sunday late in April, I think it was like the 29th or something like that, where all of our ad budgets spent within like 3 hours in the morning. And then it felt like for the next couple of weeks, all of the CPMs were jacked up. Things were going crazy, like, you know, you name it. And then we hear word that like a bunch of people were laid off from Meta, and like customer support is messed up and whatever. And I think it all just wraps back around to the conversation of like, if you're so reliant on one platform or one paid traffic source, especially like the people in our business, like the high ticket consulting, coaching, stuff like that, they get so all in on this one like lead generation technique, and they pursue it and they're good at it usually, but then something minor like this can happen, like an algo shift, and all of a sudden, where's the revenue, right? They're not anti-fragile, in other words.
No. Exactly. So yeah, you gotta diversify, guys. You gotta diversify the same way an investor would with real estate or stocks or anything, right? As a business owner, you can't put all of your eggs into one basket with an acquisitions channel, or just having one acquisition channel. And so it's just funny though. It's just funny. I think Dakota and you and I kind of get a kick out of this the most because in our space, this like, you know, digital marketing world, there are so many influencers and gurus and people who say things, and everyone likes to find kind of their silver bullet, or like what's their thing, like what's the thing that they like focus on, right? And like that's the thing. And it's just so funny because YouTube ads, like I said, they've been the golden child, and so it's like it's just funny to see when everyone's been looking up to like one specific thing, and then that thing falls through for like a month, and it's like, you know, it's just interesting to watch, I think, you know, and like how people kind of like react to it.
And not only that, but like the silver bullet is such a good way of putting it, because it's sort of like, what's the easiest thing to sell, right? The easiest thing to sell is like, hey, I have this one solution that will fix all of your problems. And there's YouTube ads agencies or like people who teach YouTube ads who for the past few years have gone all in on that silver bullet of the reason why your paid marketing isn't working is because you're not running YouTube ads. Now this algo change happens, right? What really happened is YouTube removed the ability to target keywords in their campaigns for paid ads, and they removed topic-based targeting. They're removing, you know, similar audiences. They're removing a lot of the control that people have had over like what audiences people, you know, can serve to. And in so doing, they've basically widened the audiences so much that now it's really hard to get bots and bot traffic out of there. And I think what's happening at the same time, it's really hard to understand because there's really not a lot of people talking about this right now. But I think what's also happening is that there are real humans out there getting paid to go through your funnel and opt in, go through the VSL and the case study video, get to the booking page, type in answers in your booking page, and book calls. Like real people are doing this. It's not all necessarily robots. And that is a problem.
If that is true, if that's true, bro, that is like the suckiest job on planet Earth. Like I don't think I could think of a worse job.
Right? But they're doing it, and it's almost like I don't know if competitors are hiring, you know, entire. Like there must be like some black hat agencies out there that are like, we'll drive up your competitors' ad costs, you know, by clicking through and opting in and, you know, doing all this stuff.
And then they just have like some just workshop where everyone's on like old PCs and
clicking every ad that pops up.
That sounds miserable.
Because here's the thing.
What do you think it smells like in there?
Bro, it's definitely dank and musty. Like there's no other, like it's dark, you know, the only lighting in this room is coming from like the luminescence of their laptop screens. There's smudges everywhere. Like
it smells like Axe deodorant and
the
Mountain
keyboard's
Dew.
malfunctioning. Yeah, dude. It's rough. It's rough in these warehouses. But I can't think of any other way that it's happening, because it's like we have funnels that are so airtight on like friction, right? Like you can't click through this page until you wait 5 minutes. You have to give, this bit of information. You have to click here, put in this, put in that. They're doing all of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, Facebook ads not being affected by this at all. This is just YouTube ads right now, specifically like mobile YouTube ads, like shorts. And
I was about to mention shorts because YouTube has like really thrown shorts as like the next thing that they're sort of like hooking their hopes on for increasing ad revenue. Because like in like Q1 they had a 3% slide, and then they're like, oh, we should probably go to shorts. So like, do you feel like that's the driving factor in the problems they're having?
I mean, I think anytime anyone rolls out like a new process or a new thing, there's going to be like hiccups. What the funny thing is, when we actually first started running ads on YouTube Shorts, we actually saw a lot of immediate wins. Like it was actually like really fantastic at first, and there are still wins happening. We're not just saying that they're just absolutely trash now, but I think that with like combined with this being like a new endeavor for them moving into YouTube Shorts, and then combined with what Dakota just said, which is, they've made all of these changes to how they're targeting and what they're allowing and not allowing. I think it's kind of just created a little bit of a perfect storm in that YouTube Shorts area that's leading to a little bit of this. But I don't know, Dakota, if that's what you think is happening.
Yeah, I mean, so ultimately, like if you even just browse through YouTube Shorts on your phone, the thing about it is like the algorithm's not as good so far on YouTube Shorts as it is for TikTok specifically, and Instagram's kind of sucks too for their like Instagram Reels, but YouTube Shorts really feels old, and it kind of leans pretty heavily on who you follow and like what channels you're subscribed to and stuff like that. But what I've noticed is that the ads that I get served in YouTube Shorts are just not very like targeted. Like I feel that they're very, very broad for me. And that kind of tells me that not a lot of advertisers are taking advantage of it. They're not using it as a placement, because in order to serve an ad in YouTube Shorts, you have to upload a YouTube video that is shorter than a minute long and that's like vertical, right? And then it can serve in YouTube Shorts feed. Well, not a ton of people are creating content like that yet for YouTube ads. The ones that are probably just aren't in niches that like I'm browsing typically. But what I'll say is that like, because the targeting is so wide open now, I feel that like the people who are clicking YouTube Shorts ads, like they click at a higher rate, they're cheaper clicks, but they're way less targeted. From what I've seen, and it's kind of hard to scale a YouTube Shorts campaign because there isn't that volume of traffic in that part of their feed yet. It's not nearly as many people as looking at YouTube videos, right? As an example. So yeah, there's a big mixture of problems there, but the bot lead thing, like the spam leads, I think that the problem there, and I'll just be transparent, like we're testing a bunch of different softwares right now to try to get rid of those spam leads, because at the end of the day, you could pull a report for yesterday and it might say you spent $1,000 and you got 10 calls. If you go in and you look at each one of those 10 calls right now on YouTube, 5 of them are fake. And that's across the board. Like we're running a lot of accounts and we're seeing that. And I'm seeing people in forums talking about it. I'm seeing people everywhere. And if YouTube doesn't see this and fix this quickly, we're going to have that opposite thing of like when people were mass leaving Facebook and going to YouTube, like they're going to start looking for other platforms, because at the end of the day, you're wasting a lot of ad spend, by getting these spam leads on your calendar. Not only that, you're filling up your sales calendar with
you're wasting your team's time, which is money. You know what I mean? It's like,
it's bad, man. And it's so interesting because it's been the golden child, like you said. I'm wondering what those people who went all in on YouTube ads are doing now, right? Like, hey, by the way, we don't just do YouTube ads anymore, right? Like,
we do other stuff too.
Yeah. Because it's just like, man, that silver bullet, bro. Like, there's no one size fits all, and it's not sexy to say that, right? But here we are saying it because that's what we believe. You want to go to the platform that actually works for you and your offer right now. That's the right answer. Yeah.
The truth is not always sexy, but you got to say it. I mean, it's not just an ad platform thing, right? Like, this is just kind of like a general like rule in business is, there's so many ways to succeed, right? Like as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as an investor, like whatever, like as a human being, there's a million different ways to succeed in life. You know what I mean? It's not just, there's not ever just a one size fits all. And it's just funny to me how people like, they lean on that so heavily. Like, this has got to be the thing. This is my ticket. This is like how it's got to get done. And there's so many ways to be ridiculously profitable with advertising that aren't YouTube. You know what I mean? And so it's it's cool. I honestly kind of appreciate it because it's like, it's nice that we've, you know, diversified, right? And like, we're in a position where it's like, we understand multiple different platforms, and we understand like, and we're going to always continue to do that and continue to always learn and grow, because we know that there isn't just one way to be successful. And if you lean on that, and that, you know, that crutch breaks, you know, now you're on the floor.
Right.
Good luck getting back up.
It's so true, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I have a lot of confidence in Google to like fix this. I think it's a temporary problem.
True.
But if people are running into this problem and not realizing that they need to be diversified on ad platforms, then that's the real issue here, right? Like at the end of the day, it's not the ad platform that makes or breaks your campaigns. It's your offer, number one. It's your message, you know, including your copy and how you deliver it. And then it's a little bit of the ad buying, right? Like at the end of the day, though, like those first two pieces are what matter most. And if your offer and your message are dialed in, all you have to do is figure out where your people are.
Yeah.
You know, they're on YouTube. They're probably on Meta. They're probably on Bing, you know, like you can find them out there. It's not going to be, you know, because of a platform dying that your whole business breaks if you've figured out your offer and
but let's face it, they're probably not on Bing.
Yeah. Unless, you know, if your target market is like aged 40 plus, chances of them being on Bing is pretty high. I'm not lying, because today I'm on a Windows PC right now. Okay. For the first time in,
you traitor,
dude, for the first time since high school, that's 12 years ago. I'm old now. This is the first time I've used a Windows PC. And let me tell you, when I first typed in the internet or clicked on a link or whatever, guess what opened up? Microsoft Edge. And even when I downloaded Chrome and tried to Google something in the URL bar, guess what it used to search? Bing. You have to set that stuff. You have to know how to go in and set the defaults away from that if you're using a Windows PC. A lot of people don't know how to do that. So they're using Bing. That comes out of the box. Most of the world uses Windows. So there are a lot of people on Bing. I'm just saying.
That's really interesting, actually. I didn't realize that they had like, I mean, it makes sense, you know, but I didn't realize they'd kind of like set it out of the box to just be like,
they're not giving
even
money
like, it's kind of impressive that they have it automatically installed in Chrome when you download Chrome. Like that's pretty ninja on their part.
Absolutely. And now that ChatGPT 4 is part of Bing as well, like you can use enhanced search with Bing. Bing is on an upswing, man. I mean, there's a lot going for it right now compared to the last 10 years, you know? Like, I don't know if you remember the day when like you had an iPod. Did you have an iPod, Caleb, in high school or junior high?
Yeah.
Matthew, did you as well? Yeah. Okay. Do you remember the Zune people?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Do you remember anyone with a Zune?
Yes.
Okay.
I do remember the
using Bing. Google is like the iPod and Bing is like the Zune. And that's how it's been for like the last 10 years, right? Like if you use Bing, you're also the kid that had a Zune and not an iPod. And I'm not trying to like cyberbully anyone here because some people couldn't afford iPods and that's sad. And like, but Zunes were just as expensive. So don't pretend that, you know, you were poor, so you had the Zune. No. The Zune was just as expensive. So it's like willfully choosing a Zune over an iPod is what like going to Bing instead of Google has been. Same with like now it's, you know, Android or iPhone, right? Like pretty much everybody's going to have an iPhone except for those who are like they're almost like in a cult against iPhones. And that's why they want to not be an iPhone, right? So all that to say, I think this is the year where we actually start to see a little bit of a swing of the pendulum toward Bing, where it's a little bit less ostracized. And maybe that's an opportunity for marketers to run a couple Bing ads.
It's going to move from 1% to 2%. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You think anyone will ever use Bing the way that they do use, like when someone says, hey, I'm going to Google it. right? You think anyone's ever going to be like, I'm going to Bing it?
I mean,
I feel
it
like
sounds better.
Aggressive. I feel like it sounds so aggressive. Like, just go Bing it.
Yeah, dude, I Binged it last night and I didn't see anything.
It's done. Bing it just died right there. It's never gonna be able to like get up from that.
I just associate that more with like microwaves rather than searching stuff. Like, oh, I Binged my food or something. I don't know.
Yeah, dude. Bing, like, theoretically, it's a better word than Google.
Well, yeah, Google doesn't mean anything.
Can't.
It's like, what?
Isn't Google like a number? Like it's close to infinity?
Yeah.
Like a Google is like, it's like a bajillion, jillion.
I just Googled Google. What was I expecting to come up? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Hey, wait, Matthew, Bing it.
Oh, well, I don't have Bing. I don't have Windows.
Bing Google real quick.
Just Bing it. Just Bing it.
Hey,
I'm not lying. Bing ads are an opportunity. If you're out there, they're an opportunity.
I can't take this seriously.
Hey, man, you want to leave some revenue on the table because you think it's a joke? Fine. No. I'll Bing it myself. I'll go over and I'll Bing it myself. If you guys want to stick with the Google, that's fine and dandy. You know what else Bing has going for it? Yahoo. Yahoo's part of Bing. A lot of people like Yahoo. All right. So MSN, anybody? MSN, part of Bing.
Is it really?
Just
I didn't know that.
It's like one of the search partners.
Okay.
There's some inventory over there.
I mean, I don't, discredit what you're saying here. I think, Bing, we need to diversify, right? Bringing it back full circle, try new stuff, try Bing, run some Bing ads, see what happens. You've got people buying new computers like Dakota. Maybe they'll be on there. So
I'll see you on Bing, dude. We can Chandler Bing it. All right. So full circle though. I do want to chat about a couple other platforms that we are having success with right now. I'll say this, like the YouTube ads thing hasn't messed with us too much here at AdClass because we always teach people to start with Meta, kind of like go into YouTube, do some Google branded, do some non-branded, right? Like, and then we also like to push a little bit of TikTok here and there. And I know in the past on the pod, we've talked about, the potential political ramifications of the old TikTok. But this month, I was kind of anticipating after the Montana thing happened, right? And for those who don't know, TikTok was banned in Montana a couple months back. There's lawsuits happening. TikTok is suing Montana now for this. I don't know if you've kept up with that at all, Caleb and Matthew, but basically they're like, hey man, what the heck? Free speech and stuff. Like, we're not breaking any laws. Like, come on. We want to be an app in Montana still. So they're going for that. And after all that happened, I was sort of like, okay, there's one of two ways this could go. TikTok is going to be done in the US, or we're going to kind of realize that this is unconstitutional and there's going to be a series of lawsuits and whatever, and it's not going to happen. But either way, I didn't expect TikTok ads to get better in this time. And for us, they have. Specifically on one offer that we're running, like this month was the best month ever for TikTok ads, which is just wild because in the face of all of the things that are happening, user usage is not down at all because no offense to Montana, there's like nobody that lives there. And so like that was not even a drop in the bucket. So people are still on TikTok. Their ad targeting is getting better. Their algorithm's learning, and it's still a really good option, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, like, I know the offer you're talking about. I think it was like a 4 or 5 ROAS this past month just from TikTok. Like, yeah, that's wild, guys. For those non-advertisers out there listening, 4 or 5 ROAS just means for every $1 we put into TikTok last month on this offer, they gave us 5 back. So yeah, that's money cool, printer, right? Yeah, it's a money printer. So that's really cool. It's cool to see that. Maybe who knows? Maybe some people got shaky with it and. Maybe then left more room for the people who stayed in the game. Who knows? Or maybe all the controversy led to more people downloading it because they're like, what is this thing everybody's talking about? I'd be interested to see if after the Montana announcement, if they saw an increase in US downloads for TikTok. That'd be like a really interesting thing to look into.
Yeah, if growth like maintained.
Yeah, or like you know, or spiked, you know, like everyone's
Yeah.
like, whoa, they're gonna ban it in Montana, let's download it while we can, you
Is
know.
this like the same sort of thing that happened to Morgan Wallen's music, where like after a very
Yeah.
public incident where normally people would be cancelled, like he's just like on top of every music streaming chart, it seems like.
Yeah, he blew up after that. Yeah, no, it's somewhat similar. Like, and it's like bad press is still good press. You know, like all press is good press. People are talking about
Exactly.
it, so it's recent. And yeah, I think TikTok ads here's the thing with any ad platform is the more time it has, the more money that's being put into it, the better it will become, because like it just gets more data, right? You add that TikTok pixel to more websites, you have more industries using it, all that stuff. Like over time, it's going to just get better. So it's kind of a self-fulfilling like prophecy of business growth for these ad platforms, because like you feed it more data, it gets better and it makes more money. And so as long as
Yep.
like not some crazy curveball comes out of left field and it gets banned in the US or something like that, then it's going to keep growing, in my opinion. I mean, it's very good at what it does.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
So you just brought up GPT-4 with Bing and all that. So have you played around with Bard at all this month? Because I've been playing with it too, and I've been like blown away with
Yeah.
what it's kind of been able to give back to me a little bit. Honestly, I've played a
Yeah.
lot with you know GPT, and so it's like it's interesting to see Google be able to pull from its like real time search data, which is it's really neat.
So I've gone down the rabbit hole a little bit, and I think it's a good place just to seg here into AI chat in general and kind of the state of advertising and how it relates to like the AI assistants right now. So I've been spending most of my time recently inside of Chat GPT Plus, which is the $20 a month like premium Chat GPT, because what it does is instead of like using 3.5, it lets you use 4.0. And then within 4.0, you can actually search with Bing inside of that. And then you can also search with plugins. And the
Okay.
plugin library is intense, man. So I've been like
Okay.
going down that rabbit hole. So as an example, inside of GPT Plus, one that I've been exploring a little bit is the Zapier plugin. So literally, you can connect to your Chat GPT account 4.0 with Zapier and your Zapier account. And now I can type things into Chat GPT like send Caleb a Slack message about how I'm going to be late to the next meeting, and ask him what times work for rescheduling using Google Calendar, right? And it will do all of that for me, and I just have to push the run button, and it's going to go into Slack, send you that message, integrate with Google Calendar, see what open time slots we both have, and just kind of work in the background, right? So I've been like going down that rabbit hole.
It's literally a virtual assistant. I mean,
Yes.
you're able to like be like, hey, go do this thing for me, and then if it's integrated into that system, it'll go do it. It's pretty wild.
That's the game changer, is now you can actually like connect it to things you use. Whereas like in the past, it's like, hey, check this crazy thing out. It knows how to do this conversationally. And it's like, that's really cool. But now I can make it go create a Google Doc with those findings. And then I can, like share permissions with the Google, like I can do everything from this one place. So to answer your question, I've been spending most of my time in there. I did look a little bit at Bard, but yeah, you should talk about Bard. I have it like on my main Google profile, but my other ones don't have it. So I like searched a little bit, and I didn't like it as much because I honestly, this is a dumb UI thing, but I didn't like that it shot me the answer all at once instead of showed me like it typing it out. I like to see the logic
You want
and
it
like
to
what it
feel like it's like
erases and
thinking.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I see both sides to it, because if it's like if it is typing it slow, but it's just doing it for looks, then like just give it to me straight. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But if it actually is thinking, that is pretty cool. But yeah. But before I jump into Bard really quick though, one of the things I was thinking about while you were talking is it's funny to see already just how quickly like the AI has kind of been advancing, and like now you're plugging things in and you're integrating it, and it's just really funny because I remember like when the wave hit and everyone was like, oh, like you guys got to go check out OpenAI, see what GPT 3 is doing, and we were getting in there. Like what we thought was cool was like, hey, write a rap song, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like
Right.
you know what I mean? And it's like like to go from that to like now you're like asking it to run tasks for you inside of Slack. It's just so cool like how quickly that gap has happened. And it just makes me think back to like, like AIM Messenger and like those things way back in the day. That's like, I don't know. It's just, it's funny to me how what was wild and blew our minds just a few months ago now is like, that's just simple. Have you seen what it can do now? And it's crazy to think like, where are we headed? You know what I mean? If in that short gap, we've come so far, what's going to happen in the next 3 years, 5 years, It's pretty wild.
Dude, yeah. So like one other crazy thing that it can do that I was messing with yesterday, kind of in that thought, is if you do GPT-4 and you use it with Bing, basically, which is one of the settings, and you just ask it a question, it will give you the answer that like GPT would come up with. And then it will say, now I'm going to go research on the internet and find more sources. So I asked it like, how do I, it was something really complex. It was having to do with adding a tracking code to a website, and it wasn't working for some reason. Okay. So it gives me the answer and it's like, probably this, or this, but let me go research it. And then a little box popped up, and the box was what it was currently searching in Bing. And it would say things like searching Bing, clicking first link, reading link, going back, clicking second link, reading link, going back, watching YouTube video, going back. And it was scanning these things for the resources that I had asked for.
And then just tell you.
And then it gave me the answer based on all the research it did, and it cited all of the links that it clicked on. Dude. And I was like, okay, that's
crazy.
Is different. And then there are plugins that you can also use that are like, you give it a YouTube video link and it goes, transcribes the whole thing, and then you can search that as like you can like basically use that as like the source material for GPT and ask it any questions. Like, we're getting to a point now where it's literally your imagination, and whatever you can come up with, it can do it. You just have to like think through what you need it to do. Right.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Dude, that's wild. That was the part of Bard that blew my mind, was like its ability to search in real time and pull like search results from Google. Because I mean, like, without getting into the weeds of it, I was asking it for, basically I'm looking at picking up some rental properties. And so I wanted to understand how different like interest rates worked on different types of investment loans and like all of this fun stuff, right? Things that like I just didn't really have time to look into. And so I asked it for like recommendations on a specific type of line of credit to be able to maximize my cash. And what it did was it literally like went through, scoured the different banks, pulled all of the different interest rates. And then I started asking it more in-depth questions like, okay, based off of those rates and terms that you just researched, which one do you think is best for the investment strategy that I'm going for? I'm looking to pick up a rental property at this amount or whatever. And then it basically took what I gave it and it started to think through like, what would be like the best way to finance that type of investment, and like created a plan for me and gave me step by step. I mean, like, it was just wild. And that was the coolest thing to me, was that it was able to just go to the different banks, pull the real-time data, and then use that in like a strategy like right now. You know what I mean?
Because that's been the limitation, right? Like GPT is based off of info that it learned from pre-2019. So it's always been like, okay, well, like if you want to search like what's the meaning of Kendrick Lamar's latest album, it doesn't know because it didn't see Kendrick Lamar's latest album, right? But now that it's integrated with Bing, it can actually scrub the lyrics to all the songs and come up with a hypothesis for what the premise is, right? And feed it to you. That's crazy. I mean, like, now we're tapping into real-time data. And I think too, like, how this relates to advertising, it's made it 10 times more useful, because now for competitor research or for like, anything that's like relevant right now, it can actually go out and find that, bring it back in, and help you synthesize sort of like what you're looking for.
So crazy. That's so crazy. Yeah, I honestly didn't even think about it for competitor research, like using that real-time search data to just be like, hey, go pull up my like top 5 competitor websites and tell me what they're offering right now. Like, are there any promotions running, or like, oh my gosh, dude, that's like,
it's crazy.
That's so cool to think about.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah, GPT is changing the game. Absolutely. I mean, and I think what's a little overwhelming is that we can't even imagine what's next. Like,
but we'll still, whatever comes next, we'll just be like, write me a rap song, because that's just our default.
Yeah. Right. It's like a real robot that like, comes into your house and like cleans the dishes and stuff. And Matthew's like, can you rap like Kendrick Lamar? like that's the only thing you want it to do.
It's not iRobot.
Please, I only bought you for one purpose.
It's like it has like the capacity to like solve world hunger, and like Matthew's just rapping with it.
Like, I'd like a rap song, please.
Honestly, that sounds a little less dystopian, so I'll take that.
Love it.
Well, this has been a really fun conversation. I think in my opinion, I would like to do a state of the union, as it were, state of advertising once a month. I think it's a good first of the month or first episode of the month type of deal, because there's a lot happening. I mean, I can't keep up with it myself. So it's fun to just have a place to actually talk about it, so that my wife isn't like, yeah, I'm not following anything you're saying, which is when I typically nerd out and just talk for 30 minutes. And she's just really polite and nods and says, yeah, that's really cool, honey. And I'm like, yeah.
When we have those robots that come in and clean, you can talk to them.
There you go.
Ooh. And maybe they'll rap
their responses.
Yeah, or sing, just being it.
It'll be okay. Do and just being it. Spin those records, babe. Do and just being it. It'll be okay. Just being, being, just being.
And this is day one of Dakota
this episode of AdClass.
This is day one of episode. This is day one of Dakota using a Windows machine, and he's doing this.
I'm sold out, dude. Hey, Bill, Mr. Gates, can you hear me out there? I'm your number one fan. Bing, what a legendary piece of software.
Sponsor the pod.
Sponsor the brain chip, Bill. Appreciate it.
Yeah, isn't that what you guys did when you bought your last computer? Put like that told me to insert the chip right here. Yeah. Like just back by the cerebral cortex. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
So Bing, I don't know. I just woke up this morning and was like, Bing, it's great, dude. It's fantastic.
They dropped news there with his like Neuralink stuff. I think that they approved it for like human testing finally or something.
Gosh.
So yeah. So that's
to like fix, like it can fix like paralysis and things like that is what it's supposed to be able to do. Like help your brain talk to things that, in your body that maybe were broken.
Yeah. Yeah. When I first heard about it, I feel like this is everyone's first take on that is like, oh my gosh, end of the world. There's going to be like robots that take over, like, everyone's going to have these mind controlling devices. But like really, like when you actually research it, the whole like first phase of this whole thing is like just solving like problems with the body, like people who are paralyzed and stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting. We'll see where it goes.
And then after we solve those problems, we'll create new ones.
Yes, exactly. It's
Would
weird,
you like Bing inside of your brain? We could do that. Just Bing it.
Yeah, imagine Neuralink with GPT-4 in it.
Oh my gosh.
Heck yeah. And then you put a little microphone in your like vocal cords, and all you have to do is open your mouth, and like it just talks. It just talks for you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No.
Well, that's not going to happen in the next month, I think. So the next State of the Union won't be an end of the world State of the Union. So
no, we're not there
not yet.
That's another couple months.
All right. If you've enjoyed this episode of the AdTalk by AdClass podcast, go ahead and give us, a rating on Apple. We're on Spotify. We're on all the places. Go ahead and give us some love on those platforms. Share this if you enjoyed it. Share it with your friends. Anybody who's in advertising, we're going to keep on cranking away every 2 weeks on these topics. And ultimately, if you are a person who wants to run paid ads, doesn't know where to start, needs a little help, we have a free Facebook group for you, facebook.com/groups/free AdClass. Go in there, ask any questions you want. We're more than happy to help you. And if you're already past that point and you've got an offer and you're making some money, but maybe you just don't want to bite the bullet and hire a marketing agency yet. Maybe it's just a little cost prohibitive. Maybe it's not the right move for you right now. We can help you with that too. We have a really awesome paid community, mastermind, if you will, of people who are crushing their paid offers and running the ads themselves. We get a lot of FaceTime with those people in that group. If you're interested in that, check out our website, hit us up. And finally, if you're just crushing life and you just are spending thousands and thousands and thousands a day on ads and you need somebody to take care of it all for you, we're here for you as well at AdClass. We do it all. So without anything else, that's it from us at AdClass. hope you all have a fantastic Wednesday if you're listening on premiere day, which I hope you are. Peace.
Catch you guys next time. Just Bing it.